Thank you, STL-TV. Good morning, everyone. Please do not touch your horizontal or your vertical. This is not the twilight zone. I am running the meeting due to a certain circumstances beyond our control. So we will now proceed. Sarita, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Present.
Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Present.
Alderman Bosley. Alderwoman Evans.
Present.
Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderwoman Ingracia.
Present.
Alderman Coder. Alderwoman Rice.
Present.
Alderman Gunther.
Here.
Alderman Balmer.
Present.
Alderwoman Martin. Alderwoman Grass.
Here.
Alderwoman Murphy. Alderwoman Howard. Alderwoman Green.
Present.
Alderman Oldenburg.
Present.
Alderman Rhodey. Alderman Todd.
Present.
Alderwoman Davis.
Present.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Present.
Alderman Muhammad.
Present.
Alderman Boyd. Alderman Vaccaro.
Present.
Alderman Narayan.
Here.
Alderman Cone. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Here.
Alderwoman Boyd. Alderwoman Boyd.
Present.
Thank you. Alderwoman Navarro.
Present.
President Reed. Alderman Bosley. Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderman Coder.
Here.
Alderwoman Martin. Alderwoman Murphy. Alderwoman Howard.
Present.
Alderman Rhodey. Alderman Boyd. Alderman Cone. 21 present, you have quorum.
All right. Thank you, Sharita. 21 members present. We have a quorum. We will now be led in prayer by Pastor John Watson from Maple Temple. Please proceed.
God bless you. We thank God for you all. We quoting from the Holy Scriptures, 1 Peter. He who would love life and see good days, let him then turn away from evil and do right. Let him seek peace and pursue it. Gracious God, Heavenly Father, we first thank you for the progress we made as a city and community. We, your children, created in your own image, turn to you, seeking strength for these hours, guidance for our undertaking, and goodwill for our relationship with one another. We pray for our city. We ask you to cleanse our hearts and minds of all misunderstandings and revenge, which are the root of conflict. Allow us to embrace every true purpose in political cooperation and every effort to strengthen our relationship with one another. Open the door of opportunity and give us courage to walk through it to a greater life together in this great city. Into your arms we commit ourselves, our community, our city. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Pastor. I'll give Pastor Watson a round of applause. Very nice prayer. Thank you for that this morning. All right, line item 3, announcements. I don't believe we have any. So we'll dispense with line item 3, introduction of honored guests. Any honored guests?
I do.
All right, Alderman Carl, please proceed.
As always, I like to welcome my friend Greg Meyer as my special guest today.
All right, Greg, welcome very much. Nice to have you with us. All right, anyone else have any honored guests? Seeing none, we will move to approval of the minutes. Alderwoman from the 19th, we move for approval of minutes.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair and members of the board, I moved to adopt the minutes of February 5th of 2021.
Entertain a
I'll
second.
I'll second that.
All right. Moved and seconded, we approve the meetings of February 5th, 2021. Thank you very much. And Sharita, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus,
Aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook,
Aye.
Alderman Bosley,
Aye.
Alderwoman Evans,
Present. Aye.
Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderwoman Negracia,
Aye.
Alderman Coder,
Aye. Sorry, aye.
thank you, Alderwoman Rice,
Aye.
Alderman Gunther,
Aye.
Alderman Vollmer,
Aye.
Alderwoman Martin, Alderwoman Grass,
Aye.
Alderwoman Murphy, Alderwoman Howard,
Aye.
Alderwoman Green,
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg,
Aye.
Alderman Rhodey, Alderman Todd,
Aye.
Alderwoman Davis,
Aye.
Alderwoman Spencer,
Aye.
Alderman Muhammad,
Aye.
Alderman Boyd, Alderman Vaccaro,
Aye.
Alderman Narayan,
Aye.
Alderman Cone,
Aye.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard,
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderwoman Navarro,
Aye.
President Reed, Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderwoman Martin, Alderwoman Murphy, Alderman Rhodey, Alderman Boyd, and President Reed. 23 aye votes.
All right. With that, you've passed the motion of the Alderwoman from the 19th. I would like to break. I should have done this, I guess, before the prayer. If we could, I'm going to request a moment of silence for Alderman Boyd, brother Eric, who's being buried at this very moment. Jeffrey and I are good friends, and I think we all consider Jeffrey a friend. He's been a wonderful alderman, and if we could, we'll take a moment of silence for his brother. Thank you very much. All right, with that, we'll move on to report of city officials.
Report of city officials can be found in A, B, and C of the agenda and has been placed in the aldermen's mailboxes. Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individuals for appointment and reappointment to the Cherokee Street Community Improvement District. The appointment of Mr. Ephraim Gredenberger, the appointment of Mr. Mazin Abdul Samad, the appointment of Mr. Curtis York, the appointment of Mr. Brennan England, the appointment of Mr. Brandon Bond, the reappointment of Ms. Jessie Chappell, and the reappointment of Mr. Mark Nevelo. I respectfully request your approval of the appointment. Sincerely, Lyda Cruz, Mayor.
Thank you, Sharita. Alderman from the 9th, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we accept the mayor's nominations for the reappointments and appointments to the Cherokee Street Community Improvement District.
Entertain a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individuals for appointment and reappointment to the Cherokee Limp Special Business District. The appointment of Miss Shashi Pamalad, the reappointment of Miss Barbara Moore. I respectfully request your approval of the appointments. Sincerely, Lyda Cruz, Mayor.
Thank you, Sharita. Alderman from the 9th, you're recognized.
Thank you again, Mr. President. I would move that we accept the mayor's mayor's appointments to the Cherokee-Lemp Special Business District.
Entertain a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individual for a reappointment to the DeBoliver Place Special Business District. The reappointment of Mr. Sid Chacklerverdi. I respectfully request your approval of the appointment. Sincerely, Lyda Crewson, Mayor.
All right, Alderwoman from the 26th, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I move to accept the mayor's nomination of Sid Chakravarty to the Bolivar Special Business District.
Entertain a second. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 No.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay, Sharita, thank you very much. We'll move on.
Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individuals for appointment and reappointment to the Tower Grove South Concerns Citizen Special District. The appointment of Ms. Dominique Lockett, the appointment of Mr. Kenneth Warner, and the reappointment of Ms. Deborah Cohen. I respectfully request your approval of the appointment. Sincerely, Lyda Crewson, Mayor.
Thank you, Sharita. Alderwoman from the 15th, you're recognized on the mayor's appointments.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I would move to approve the mayor's appointments, reappointments to the Tower Concerns Special District.
Second.
Entertain. Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Sharita?
Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individual for appointment to the Waterman Lake Special Business District. The appointment of Ms. Lily Seymour. I respectfully request your approval of the appointment. Sincerely, Lyda Crewson, Mayor.
Thank you. Alderwoman from the 28th, you're recognized on the mayor's appointments.
Thank you. I move that we approve the mayor's appointment to the Waterman Lake Special Business District.
Entertain a second.
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 All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Sharita, please.
Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individuals for a reappointment to the Soulard Special Business District. The reappointment of Mr. William Tomber, the reappointment of Ms. Molly Dottery, and the reappointment of Mr. Terrence Hoffman. I respectfully request your approval of the appointment. Sincerely, Lyda Crewson, Mayor.
All right, Alderman from the 7th Ward, you're recognized on the mayor's appointments.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I move to approve the mayor's appointments to the Soulard SBD.
Entertain a second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. Sharita, please.
Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individuals for reappointment to the 14th and Market Community Improvement District. The reappointment of Mr. David Meyer, the reappointment of Mr. Christopher McKee, the reappointment of Mr. Paul McKee Jr., the reappointment of Mr. Christopher Zimmerman, and the reappointment of Mr. Phil Siddle. I respectfully request your approval of the appointment. Sincerely, Lyda Crewson, Mayor.
Alderman from the 7th, you're recognized on the mayor's appointments.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I move to approve the mayor's appointments to the 14th and Market SID.
Entertain a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
No.
No.
No. No.
No.
No.
Okay. Do we require a voice of, I think we might need a roll call vote.
We can't do that.
Okay, well, pardon me. It seems like either that or someone's saying no about 4 or 5 times.
You get to make a ruling, Mr. Chairman.
I'll recognize you. Thank you very much. But, to me, it seemed like the ayes have it. Any argument with that? All right.
Thank you.
At this point, we will skip over, dispense with line item 7. Would anyone like to take any bills off our informal calendars? All right, no one? And with that, we will go to board bills for impact. Gotta go for Get all my pages out of my way. We go to informal. And we are now at, we can dispense with line items 11 through 16, third reading consent calendar.
Board Bill 217, 169, 210, 211, 219, Committee Sub, 222, 146, Committee Sub, 155, 203, 208, 234 as amended, 175, Floor Sub, 238, and 209.
All right. And we will recognize the Alderman from the 19th. You're on the motion for the third reading consent calendar.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I move to adopt the third reading calendar.
Second.
Okay, moved by the Alderman from the 19th, second by the, I didn't catch who it was. Let me know.
14.
14. Thank you very much. Sharita, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus,
Aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook,
Aye.
Alderman Bosley, Alderwoman, thank you, Alderwoman Evans,
Aye.
Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderwoman Ingracia,
Aye.
Alderman Coder,
Aye.
Alderwoman Rice,
Aye.
Alderman Gunther,
Aye.
Alderman Balmer,
Aye.
Alderwoman Martin,
Aye.
Alderwoman Grass,
Aye.
Alderwoman Murphy, Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman, thank you, Alderwoman Green,
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg,
Aye.
Alderman Rhodey, Alderman Todd,
Aye.
Alderwoman Davis,
Aye.
Alderwoman Spencer,
Aye.
Alderman Muhammad, Alderman Boyd,
Aye.
thank you, Alderman Boyd, Alderman Vaccaro,
Aye.
Alderman Narayan,
Aye.
Alderman Cone, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard,
Aye.
Alderwoman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderwoman Navarro,
Aye.
President Reed, Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderwoman Murphy, Alderman Rhodey, Alderman Boyd, Alderman Cone,
Aye.
President Reed. 24 aye votes.
Thank you. By your vote, you have sustained the motion of the Alderwoman from the 19th. Third read and finally passed those bills. Third reading report of engrossment.
Board Bill 44, floor sub, sponsored by Alderman Narayan, an ordinance for regulation and control of air pollution within the city of St. Louis, repealing ordinance 68137, approved October 31st, 2008, ordinance 70607, approved July 19th, 2017, and ordinance number 71146, approved May 7th, 2020. Pertaining to the regulation and control of air pollution and enacting in lieu thereof a new ordinance for the purposes of clarity pertaining to the subject matter and contain a severability clause, a penalty clause, and an emergency clause.
All right, Alderman from the 24th. You're recognized on third reading and final passage of Board Bill 44, floor substitute.
Thank you. I move that we third read and finally pass Board Bill 44, floor substitute.
Second.
It's been moved by the Alderman 24th, second by the Alderman from the 9th. We read and finally pass Board Bill 44 for substitute. Any discussion? No discussion, Bert? Sharita, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus,
Aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook,
Aye.
Alderman Bosley,
Aye.
Alderwoman Evans,
Aye.
Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderwoman Negracia,
Aye.
Alderman Coder,
Aye.
Alderwoman Rice,
Aye.
Alderman Gunther,
Aye.
Alderman Balmer,
Aye.
Alderwoman Martin,
Aye.
Alderwoman Grass,
Aye.
Alderwoman Murphy, Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Green,
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg,
Aye.
Alderman Rhodey, Alderman Todd, Alderwoman Davis,
Aye. Todd is aye.
Alderwoman Davis,
Present.
Alderwoman Spencer,
Aye.
Alderman Muhammad, Alderman Boyd, Alderman Vaccaro,
Aye.
Alderman Narayan,
Aye.
Alderman Cone,
Present.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard,
Present.
Alderwoman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderwoman Navarro,
Aye.
President Reed, Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderwoman Murphy, Alderwoman Howard,
Aye.
Alderman Rhodey, Alderman Boyd, President Reed. 20 aye votes.
I'd like to change my vote
Okay.
to no.
19 aye votes, 1 no vote, and 4 voted present.
Thank you. By your vote, you have approved the motion of the Alderman from the 24th.
That
We
is the
will go-
extent of third reading report of engrossment.
Thank you very much. Report on Enrollment Committee.
Board Bill 217, 169, 210, 211, 219, Committee Sub 222, 146, 155, 203, 208, 234 as amended, 175 floor sub, 238, 209, and 44 floor sub.
All right, thank you, Sharita. All other business being suspended, the president will in open session affix his signature here to the end that these may become law. With that, we'll move on to line item 20, courtesy resolution calendar. Alderman from the 19th, you're recognized on the approval to our courtesy resolutions calendar.
I move to adopt our courtesy resolution calendar.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
There's a hand up.
with that, we've approved the courtesy resolutions calendar. We'll move on to,
Alderwoman Tyus has
I've had my hand up.
oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have.
I know.
see it now.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
Well,
Alderman
it's,
Tyus, you're recognized.
well, because I wanted to add my name to the resolutions, but we've already passed it now, so.
Okay, I apologize. I'm not used to looking down at the bottom of the screen there for that. I apologize.
This is your, one of, first or second time, I take no negative intent from it, okay?
No, if
Thank
it
you.
was Alderman from the 23rd, I would have void over, but you, I would not.
Thank you. And I'm gonna take up for the Alderman from 23rd. He would never do that to you, Alderman.
I know, we just have fun with each other. All right, we go to first reading of resolutions.
Resolution 124, sponsored by Alderwoman Davis, 2019 Grand Center Community Improvement District member appointment.
Alderman Davis from the 19th, you're recognized.
Oh, I move to
Unanimous consent.
unanimous consent for the Grand Center Community Improvement District member appointment.
Hearing no
Second.
objections, you, Any objections? I'm sorry. Hearing no objections, you may proceed.
Thank you. This Grand Center, Sid has had their operations for a number of years, and it's most of the people who are suggested for this internally, that's where the recommendations come from, not from me and not from the mayor. They make their own decisions and then send it in to us. I just wanted to add that for clarity. Thank you.
All right. Would you like to renew your motion?
I shall
other-
renew my motion.
All right. With that, we will adopt a hearing no. All
I'll
in favor?
second that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing no opposition, we have approved the resolution for the Grand Center Community Improvement District. With that, second reading of resolutions.
Resolution 96, sponsored by Alderman Cone. Forest Park Advisory Board member appointment for Ms. Gwen Moore.
All right, Alderman from the, Alderman Cohen, you're recognized.
I move that we adopt the nomination to the Forest Park Advisory Board.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excuse me, do we get discussion or anything?
I'm sorry. If you'd like. If you'd
Yes,
like,
first,
you can-
okay, because was his motion for all of them or just 96?
No,
first of
no,
all?
we're going through each one by one.
Okay, and can you
Okay.
remember that if hands up, that we want some discussion, after the motion, we have to have discussion?
Certainly,
Okay,
certainly,
thank you.
certainly. Thank you. All right. We're on 96. If we need to remove the second, if anyone would like to have discussion on 96. I see no hands up for discussion. Thank you. We will move on to resolution 97.
Are we not taking a vote on 96?
I thought we took an aye vote. All in favor, say aye.
You said
Remember
aye.
saying that?
Oh, did we? Okay, just making
Yes.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
All right. So we have approved resolution 96. We'll move on to resolution 97.
Resolution 97, sponsored by Alderman Cone. Forest Park Advisory Board member appointment for Mr. Alvin Willis.
Okay. Alderman Cohen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I probably should have provided some clarification with the last nominee. These were a group of nominees that were sent to the Parks Committee where we divided the issues and took individual votes on each one of them. They all came before the Parks Committee for consideration and questions from the committee. And with that, I will make the motion that we accept the nomination of Alvin to the Forest Park Advisory Board.
Entertain a second. Any discussion? Seeing no hands up, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? With that, we've approved resolution 97. Move on to resolution 98.
Resolution 98, sponsored by Alderman Cone. Forest Park Advisory Board appointment for Ms. Joanne Williams.
Thank you. Alderman Cohen, you're recognized.
I make a motion that we accept the nomination of Ms. Joanne Williams to the Forest Park Advisory Board.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Okay, for camera.
All right, someone please mute. I hear no discussion, see no hands up. Well, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We've approved resolution 98. Resolution 99.
Resolution 99, sponsored by Alderman Cone. Forest Park Advisory Board member appointment for Ms. Denise Coleman.
All right, Alderman Cohen, you're recognized.
I make a motion that we accept the nomination of Ms. Denise Coleman to the Forest Park Advisory Board.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing no hands up, we will approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we have approved resolution 99. Resolution 100.
Resolution 100, sponsored by Alderman Cone. Forest Park Advisory Board member appointment for Ms. Emily Andrews.
Alderman Cohen, you're recognized.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 100, the nomination of Miss Emily Andrews to the Forest Park Advisory Board.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no hands up, no discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we've approved resolution 100. Resolution 101.
Resolution 101, sponsored by Alderman Cone, Forest Park Advisory Board member, appointment for Mr. Jacob Banton.
Alderman Cohen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 101, the appointment of Mr. Jake Banton to the Forest Park Advisory Board.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no hands up, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. We've approved resolution 101. Resolution 102.
Resolution 102, sponsored by Alderman Cone, Forest Park Advisory Board member, appointment for Ms. Ann Lieberman.
All right, Alderman Cohen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 102, the appointment of Miss Ann Lieberman to the Forest Park Advisory Board.
Second.
All right, we have second. Alderman from the first, we have a hand up. Please proceed.
I'm sorry, Mr. President, it's for the next one. So I
Okay.
got ahead of myself. I wanted you to see it. So it's for
All right, no
103.
worries. Okay, I'm put your hand next to 103 right now. All right, no discussion on 102. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, hearing none. Resolution 102 is approved. We will now move to resolution 103.
Resolution 103, sponsored by Alderman Cone, Forest Park Advisory Board member, appointment for Mr. C. Anthony Arrington.
Alderman Cohen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 103, the appointment of Mr. Anthony Arrington to the Forest Park Advisory Board.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Alderman from the first, Alderman from the first, please proceed.
Mr. President, members of the board, first of all, I ask for a roll call. And most certainly my first discussion is that these, all of these appointments came over here late, over to the Board of Aldermen late. And then after we were already recessed, there was a meeting called in the middle of when some of us had not one, but two elections. A meeting was called, which I could not come to, and I let the chair know. I also am the person that told the mayor and people that we were supposed to have these resolutions in the first place, because some of these people who are being renominated have sat on the board illegally for years, Mr. Banton being one of them. But I particularly am opposed to Mr. C. Anthony Arrington, because if any of you all have read about Dismas House, which is located in now what is called the First Ward, then you will know that this is ridiculous to have this nomination, that they have misused funds. They're getting ready to lose their federal funds. They have, if they're worried about a park, he should worry about Sherman Park, which is right across the street from Dismas House, which I found out now after all this time, they have no right to even be there. They never got an occupancy permit, but because of the inner workings of the city of St. Louis, in which Gary Best, who used to be our Forest Park, our park director, was connected to Mr. Arrington, who is his brother-in-law. And so when you look at all this stuff, we ought to be ashamed to be nominating this person to be on anything to do with the parks. And especially since they are not feeding the people who are there correctly. They have all kind of federal complaints filed against them. They have had murders right across the street from Sherman Park. So I don't know how he can look out for Forest Park when he cannot look out for Sherman Park that's right across the street. They have not been a good steward in our community. I'm looking for them to be moved out. I never understood when I got in office in 91, how Dismas House was right across the street. How was a halfway house across the street from a park? That only became apparent when there have been 4 or 5 articles written about Dismas House and the mismanagement of the money. And we ought to be ashamed if we go ahead with this nomination and put it through, because Mr. Arrington is not a person that should be a steward on anything. He should be cleaning up his mess that he has over at Dismas House. And once they got in the middle of the mess, all these times they never had any time for me. Then all of a sudden they calling me, they want me to be on their boards. No, I don't want to be on your board. I want you shut down. I don't want murders across the street from a park and behind. There's a girls' school, Hawthorne School, that is right there. I don't want people getting shot in the middle of the street. I don't want people getting shot inside the Dismas House. I do not want them in the first ward. They should not be across from a park. And if you go look today, they don't have occupancy permits or anything to be there. And this has all been a horrible, horrible scenario of inner workings of how the politics smell in St. Louis, that you could have these people got millions and millions of dollars paid to them, and it's been a mess, and we should not be confirming this person for anything to do with the parks. We should be investigating this person. Whatever he came and told them before the Parks Committee, as I said, I couldn't make it then, but anybody who has read anything about Dismas House, you can Google it right now. This is not a person that should be on anything to do with Forest Park. And we have a new mayor coming here, and I don't even like the whole concept of right before the mayor comes in, that the last mayor will put in all of these appointments. I think that is bad policy, and I've been on record for years about this, and it's very bad policy for Mr. C. Anthony Arrington to be on anything that has to do with the city of St. Louis without a deep investigation of him. But a cursory investigation of him has been across the pages of the Post-Dispatch for years now. And I don't understand why he is still being prompted or pushed as someone that should be on Forest Park. And if the sponsor would yield, I'd like to ask questions.
Alderman from the 25th, will yield to the Alderman from the 1st.
Absolutely.
Please proceed.
Alderman from the 25th, I'll let you know I couldn't be there, because what you do realize that these were all done after like the last day or so of when we were in session, and then this was held. And you were lucky enough not to have opposition, but those of us that did had some other things to do. Can you tell me what questions were asked of Mr. Arrington, and if anything about this mess that goes on Dismas House has been across many of the pages and in Mr. Messenger's articles and the millions of dollars that they've been paid? Was any of that put before him?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, the meeting was, I believe, like the first week in February. So it was right around the time that we were adjourning for legislative recess. It was either the week of or the week after we were in session. All of these nominations, Director Hayes was there and was present and explained that these were actually nominations that he had been working on and had actually planned to introduce in late 2020, but due to COVID and other unrelated issues to COVID, wasn't able to get the list over to the mayor's office. So as you're probably aware, Alderwoman, the directors for some of these boards and commissions are city staff that help go through the vetting process and help the mayor's office with nominations. And so the Forest Park Advisory Board is certainly one of those. And so that being said, Director Hayes did mention that he was trying to diversify the board, which I believe that many of these nominations represent that. Certainly, I believe Mr. Banton, lives up in kind of the near north side.
Lives in the 26th ward.
Correct.
But I'm specifically asking, I'm not asking about Mr. Banton. I'm asking about Mr. Anthony Arrington.
Correct. I'm providing context of the conversation.
I understand it more than anybody. I'm the one pushed for this.
So, with, I know I've been working with you.
Right.
Anyways, the conversation, pertaining to Mr. Arrington, from what I recollect, it is a non-voting member of the Forest Park Advisory Board. If I recall correctly, the matter of Dismas House did come up I did raise because I raised your concerns. So because you and I had texted, I believe, the night before, and you had voiced your opposition. And so I let the committee know that you're opposed or had concerns, I suppose, relative to his nomination. And so there was a lengthy discussion around his particular nomination at the committee, because I did mention that you had concerns relative to his particular appointment.
And did you mention about the murders that have been happening in Dismas House, and or the fact that the feds are in there because of the money that was spent, that he made, he and his sister or whoever, Gary's wife? You know, when you look at all of this, why would we even want somebody like that? That would be one we would hold. And to me, if I'm the new mayor, I'm going to ask for his resignation if we pass this. Did we speak to the murders that are happening over there in the street, right across the street from a park, voting or non-voting? How can you look out for Forest Park when you can't look out for the park that your business sits next to?
That's a fair question, Alderwoman. I don't specifically recall questions around murders at Dismas House. I do remember there being a conversation about his role at Dismas House and the activity that's there, and many members of the committee, if I recall correctly, I believe Alderman Bosley, the alderman from the 3rd Ward, and the alderwoman from the 8th Ward, Alderwoman Rice, had questions pertaining to that. Again, that was 2.5 months ago, so I'm jogging my memory a bit. But there was, out of all of the folks that we had before us, I believe this was probably the more lengthy conversation around his appointment.
Did he explain the millions of dollars that he and his sister have gotten paid while mistreating the people that are there? Did he give an explanation of that? I mean, this is not a little money. This is like $5 million or something like that. Did he have an explanation for that?
Not that I recall, but again, I might need to defer to one of the other committee members, to see, to maybe jog my memory a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Not that I recall.
Okay, Mr. President, thank you. I have no further questions for the Alderman from the 25th. If the Alderwoman from the 8th would yield.
Alderman from the 8th, will yield to questions from the Alderwoman from the 1st.
Sure.
Alderwoman, do you happen to
Please proceed.
remember? Thank you, Mr. President. Do you happen to remember any conversation about Dismas House? And it's been in Tony Messenger's column over and over again, and he's related to Gary DeBest because that's his brother-in-law, and that's how right there today they're sitting there without any even occupancy permit. Did he explain to us about the millions of dollars that have been misused, and that the fact that all these complaints have been made by the people who are housed there? We have had very famous people there. I mean, many politicians have gone there, and none of them have anything good to say about it, but the current residents have now filed all kind of complaints. So was there any conversation about that, and what happened to that, how they got paid that much money?
So I don't know that we got that specific, but a lot of those questions were raised, and like the Alderman from the 25th said, the questions about what his role is currently with Dismas House was raised. I share your concerns. This is one that I'm planning on voting no on if you're calling for a roll call today.
I am.
Voice vote otherwise. I agree. All of the articles and research that I was able to do during that committee meeting. I think the idea from the committee was to bring this in front of the full board with your input, as you're able to be here today and we're not able to be present at the Parks Committee meeting. So we could have this discussion in front of the full board.
Well, again, I'm saying that if I don't like putting forth all these people, and that's a different thing. But when we put forth somebody like this, and we full well know the problems that have happened, then we're putting a stamp of approval on it, to me. And that just doesn't make any sense. We would hold this one, even if it comes up later, well, he's all right, which I don't believe he is. And as I said before, once they got in trouble, then they beat it to my front door trying to put me on their board. I don't want to be on a board like that. I don't think that. I'm still floored with the fact that they don't have an occupancy permit. But all of this happens because your brother-in-law is in city government. This is what is wrong with city government, folks, that we can have people in, that we could put halfway houses in North St. Louis right next to a park behind a school, and that we then push them forward. It's like, oh, well, they don't vote. I don't care if he votes or not. I wouldn't put a sexual predator on anything with children, whether you vote or not. This person has got a problem right across the street from a park where my children, all the children, which I call the children in my community, they go. And they've had murders on the street and inside that place. And then when you look at them taking all of this money and getting paid, and then the connection, which I'm really disappointed in Greg Hayes because I'm a big fan of his, but he took Gary Bess's place. And so I'm disappointed that he would put this person forward after all that's been there. It is up to us to say no sometimes. This is one of the times that we need to say no. I don't know who pushed him in the first place, but whoever did, I would suggest you go and look at the articles. It's nothing that I wrote or even initiated. It all became initiated because Gary Bess went to work for Steve Stinger, and we know he's in federal prison now. Now, the things didn't come out until he went to work for Steve Stinger, and then he did some illegal things out there in the county, and then he started to get investigated. And when he got investigated, all of this other stuff came out, many of which my community has been complaining about for years. So to me, this is a slap in the face for you to then want to appoint somebody like Mr. Arrington to the Forest Park Advisory Board, voting or not voting, with the problems that he has both federally and locally. Because as soon as we finish, when we start the new session, then I'm going to be asking for an investigation in how does he sit there in the first place with no occupancy permit, no variance, no nothing. He's just there. But I already know the answer because his brother-in-law was the parks director. And like I said, I'm going to have a conversation with Mr. Hayes too, because that is not the Greg Hayes that I know. And I cannot believe it. I'm really, really disappointed because I am a big fan of his and know him to be somebody that works hard. And I don't understand how this happened. So I appreciate it. Alderman from the 8th. Is the Alderman from the 3rd, is he available? Thank you, Mr. President. I have no further questions.
All right. I believe the Alderman for the 3rd has left the meeting.
Okay. So anyway, I would just ask you, all of the people who are on this meeting this morning, to really think about if this was something that was in your ward and these kind of things would happen, would you want to see this person appointed to a board? And is this the kind of person that we want on our advisory board or any kind of thing, anything like that, that this man is literally have used his city connections to have an illegal operation, Dismas House, and that he's used that connections to get paid an awful lot of money. And now all of a sudden he's coming up with a nomination of to be on the Forest Park Advisory Board. And I don't know a good reason why he is better suited than someone else. There's somebody else that wherever neighborhood he comes from, because I don't know, that's better suited for this position than he. And I'd ask all of you all to vote no on this nomination, and let's let the new mayor appoint somebody better suited that don't have all these problems that are across the front page of the Post-Dispatch. And I have no further comments, and I'd ask for a roll call, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Alderman from the 1st. Alderman from the 12th, your hand is up.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, Anthony Arrington is not related to any of the people that were mentioned. Gary Bess primarily, they are not brother-in-laws. And he is not the brother-in-law to Gary's wife either. He's an employee of Dismas House, but is not related to anyone there.
All right.
I just wanted to clear that up.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion?
So,
go, Alderman Cohen, you're recognized.
Okay, thank you. I actually, while the Alderwoman from the 1st ward was questioning, I'll defer my time to the Alderwoman from the 1st. She has her hand up.
All right, Alderman from the 1st. Do you have your hand up, Alderman from the 1st? I don't see it on my screen.
I did have it up. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I
Okay.
put it up physically.
Okay, all right.
I'm sorry, I didn't hit the thing. I had it up physically.
Right. You're recognized. Please proceed.
Mr. But I've already spoken unless the 25th Ward was getting ready to close.
He's deferring his time to you at this moment.
Okay. If the Alderman from the 12th would yield.
Alderman from the 12th, we yield to questions from the Alderman from the 1st.
Sure.
Is it your testimony that he is not related to Gary Best, that is not his brother-in-law?
That is my testimony.
Okay, and he's just a employee and he didn't get this $5 million that I read about?
I don't know what you're referring to as far as the $5 million goes for Anthony Arrington. No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't have any knowledge of that.
Have you read anything about Dismas House?
I have, but that means that I probably, I can't believe everything that I read in the Post-Dispatch.
I understand that.
So I take some of it to heart, and the others I try to find out on my own. I haven't looked into that. I just know they're not related.
Do you? Okay. And I'll take that because you are right. The Post is not always correct. Do you know anything about Dismas House?
I do.
And have you, would you want a halfway house next to a park in your community?
No.
Would you be surprised that they don't have an occupancy permit?
Yes.
I am too. Okay. If there have been more than one murder at this place, was that something that you would want to happen in your community?
Oh, of course not.
Okay. And so then at what point do we think that what makes Mr. Arrington, you say he just runs this place. Do you know about the complaints that have been made from current and former people about, I mean, because they followed up with complaints about how they are treated, how the food, is that something that concerns you?
It is. It absolutely is.
It would, again, if this was somebody in your community, would you want to see this person appointed to a board?
Yeah, no, I would not. But Alderwoman Tyus, that wasn't, I mean, that's not where I was going. I just wanted you to know that he's not related. That's all.
Oh, and I thank you because you are correct. I've been at the wrong end of the Post-Dispatch witness, so I do understand that. Okay, and so I did not follow through and investigate that myself. But when I'm telling you about the murders, why I know about that is because every time somebody got killed there, I got a notification of it, and the complaints about how things are done there have been documented. Not only that, because we've had at least 5 very famous politicians who have spent time in Dismas House. So I talked to them after they got out. I don't want to say names. So none of them had anything good to say about it. So I just don't know how we just pass this along as something, oh, ta-da, that's all right. We'll just appoint him anyway. And as I said, I have high regards for Greg Hayes. And so when I get off of this call, I'm going to call him because I don't understand why he would have nominated him after, because Mr. Arrington figures prominently in the reports that the Post-Dispatch did about Dismas House. I didn't just get his name, okay? He figures prominently, but if he's not Gary Best's brother-in-law, that's fine. I still have concerns about Dismas House, how they are there, how they are being run, and why we're pushing him as somebody that has to be appointed to the Forest Park Board without looking closer into what else is going on with Dismas House, because you are part of that. So I thank you for your correction. And I have no further comments.
Thank you all from the 1st. All of them from the 14th have their hand up. Please unmute yourself. There you go.
Yes, I do. I think that before we start taking people through the mud, we ought to verify who we're talking about.
We have a very bad audio connection, Alderman Howard.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you have a little robot sound to you.
Well, maybe I am a little robot.
Okay, that's much better.
Okay, I just think that we ought to verify who we're talking about before we start throwing people into the mud. I mean, I don't know Mr. Arrington. I know that they want to appoint him to this board. If we defer it, I think it's fine, but I think we need to be careful of how we characterize people that we may or may not know. So, I mean, if he's affiliated with Dismas House, I don't know that either. But I do know, about Dismas House, but we're talking about appointing somebody to a park board. So I think maybe we should defer it.
All right. Thank you very much for your input. Any other hands up? Any other discussion? Alderman from the 25th, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, or I'm sorry, Mr. President. So I pulled up the STL Today story. Mr. Arrington is not referred to as a familial relation to any of the former city employees that my colleague from the first ward was referring to. But it did name other familial associations related to Dismas House in the article, but Mr. Arrington is not one of those. He's listed as an associate director of Dismas House in the report. And so obviously he is affiliated with Dismas House, but not apparently a familial relation to any of those individuals. At least not documented in the Post-Dispatch story. I did try to get a hold of Mr. Hayes while the alderwoman from the first ward was, having conversations or questioning other members of the board. He is not yet called me back. So I'm unable to get answers for you, Alderwoman, with respect to his particular specific reasons for nominating Mr. Arrington. But the current mayor did call me and said that she would be okay with deferring this to the new administration. So I am going to hold or withdraw resolution number 103.
All right. Thank you very much, Alderman from 25th. With that, we will table resolution 103 and we'll move to resolution 104.
Resolution 104, sponsored by Alderman Cone, Forest Park Advisory Board member for Mr. Gary Crosh.
All right, Alderman from 25th, you're recognized.
Thank you. I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 104.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no hands up, with that, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
All opposed? With that, we've approved resolution 104. And we will now move on to resolution 105. And this is the final time I'm going to recognize you I've recognized you anywhere now, Shane. But
Resolution 105, sponsored by Alderman Cone, Forest Park Advisory Board appointment for Ms. May Brown Ray.
Alderman from 25th, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I feel like I'm at the grocery store with the number of times I'm being recognized right now. So I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 105.
Second.
Aye.
Any discussion? Seeing no hands up, with that, we will, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Hearing that, we have approved resolution 105. Miscellaneous and unfinished business.
We have none.
Announcements.
Tuesday, April 20th, full board meeting will 10 a.m. held in the chambers. That is the extent of the announcements.
Any further announcements? Seeing none, we'll move on to line item 25. Alderman from the 19th, you're recognized on the excused alderman. Need to unmute, thank you.
Okay. I'd like to move to excuse the alderpersons of the 5th, the 17th, and the 22nd ward.
And I believe also 13th and President Reed.
Wait a minute. The 13th, wait a minute, hold on. The 13th
I wouldn't be sitting here.
I know, but the 13th was on the.
Okay, all right.
13th was on the call. Okay. And then as I catch my breath to say, and the president of the Board of Aldermen.
No problem. We're all in different positions here today. All right, no worries. All right, entertain a second.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, ayes have it. 26, the motion to adjourn. Alderman from the 19th, you're recognized.
I move to adjourn Sunny Day.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? With that, the meeting is adjourned. Sine die. Thank you all for your support today, and have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.